Hello students, today we'll discuss the assignment number 6 on relations and functions. Okay, so your first question is find the range of your function fx is equal to x square minus x plus 1 upon x square plus x plus 1. So let us assume this thing is y. So y is equal to what? X square minus x plus 1 upon x square plus x plus 1. Yes. So range means you have to find all the possible values of your fx, okay, whenever your x belongs to the domain. So now sir, if you observe this thing, the denominator x square plus x plus 1, so this is a quadratic equation in which your coefficient of x square is what? That is positive 1. Yes, and discriminant is what? D is negative. You can find b square minus 4ac, you will get what? 1 minus 4, that's minus 3, which is negative. So a positive, d negative. So this expression is what? This expression is always positive. Okay, so now sir, if you multiply both side by x square plus x plus 1, you will get what? You will get y times x square plus x plus 1 is equal to x square minus x plus 1. Okay, now sir, take all the terms from your right hand side to the left hand side. Okay, so during transposition we know sign changes, so you will get what? After the simplification you will get y minus 1 into x square plus yx plus x, so you can say y plus 1 into x plus y minus 1. Yes, y minus 1 is equal to 0. Got it? So if you observe, the domain is what? First of all, the domain, if you calculate the domain, values of x for which your function is real valued function. So it means you have to remove all the values where denominator is 0. So you can say denominator is always positive. So domain is what? Domain is all real number. X can take any real value. Yes, x can take any real value. So now, so this is quadratic equation in x, and x is a real value. So you can say discriminant of this equation is what? That is greater than or equal to 0. Yes, so d greater than equal to 0, and y is what? Y cannot be 1. Okay, y cannot be 1 because coefficient of x square, if y is 1 then coefficient of x square is 0, then this is not a quadratic. Got it? So if you simplify this thing, you will get what? D is b square minus 4a into c, that's y minus 1 whole square, greater than equal to 0, d greater than equal to 0. So this is what? This is a square minus b square. How? You can write this thing as y plus 1 whole square minus 2 into y minus 1 whole square greater than equal to 0. If you simplify it, you will get what? A square minus b square gives you a plus b. Okay, a plus b into a minus b. That is greater than equal to 0. So when you simplify, you will get what? You will get, sir, y, 2y, 3y, and this is minus 1. So 3y minus 1 into, this is minus 2y and y, minus y, plus 2 and plus 1, 3. So minus y plus 3 greater than equal to 0. Okay, so now multiply with the negative sign, so inequality get reversed. You will get 3y minus 1. You will get 3y minus 1, y minus 3. Yes, y minus 3 less than equal to 0. Less than equal to 0. So using your wavy curve method, you can say y belongs to where to where? Sir, y belongs to 1 by 3 to 3 close. Okay, but you know one thing, that 1 lies in this interval, so you have to remove that point. So remove your point 1. Okay, got it? Because we already know that y cannot be 1. So now you have to discuss if y is equal to 1. So do we have any x for which y can take value as 1? So let's discuss this thing. So this is what? Let's say if y is 1, let y is 1. So if you assume y is equal to 1, and you will get some value of x for which, some real value of x for which this is true. So it means you can include 1 in your range. Okay, So 1 is equal to what? 1 is equal to x square minus x plus 1 upon x square plus x plus 1. So when you simplify it, you will get x square plus x plus 1 is equal to x square minus x plus 1. You can cancel these two things. So you'll get 2x is equal to 0. So from here you can say x is equal to 0. It means yes, at x is equal to 0, your range y takes the value 1. So and x belongs to my domain. So yes, it means y is also in my range. Y is equal to 1 is in my range. So final answer is y belongs to 1 by 3 to 3 except 1 union 1 singleton 1. Okay, so it means y is what? Y belongs to 1 by 3 to 3 close interval. So this is the final answer. Okay, this is your final answer. Got it? So range of your function is 1 by 3 to 3. Okay, now let's do the next one. Next is find the domain of this function, cos of root of cos of sin x. Okay, so fx is equal to root over cos of sin x. Okay, so we know for every real value, if x can take any real value, if x take any real value, then sin x belongs to -1 to 1. Yes, so you can say for all x belongs to r, for all x belongs to r, sin x is -1 to 1. Okay, that's the range, because range of sin x is this one, -1 to 1. Okay, so now draw the cos of sin x. Yes, if you draw graph of cos, let's draw the graph of cos. Draw the graph of cos. Let's say this is x-axis and y-axis, and graph of cos x is this one. Okay, similarly here, you know that value is what? That value is minus pi by 2, and this value is pi by 2. Okay, so you know now the input, that is sin x, that can take the value from -1 to 1. So -1 is where? So -1 is somewhere here. Okay, because pi by 2 is what? 1.57 approx. So 1 is where? 1 is somewhere here. So if you observe the graph of sin x, if you observe the graph of sin x from -1 to 1, so this is your graph. Yeah, sorry, graph of cos x. If you observe the graph of cos x from -1 to 1, then this is your graph. Yes, it means what? It means that thing is what? That thing is always positive. Yes, this graph lies on the lies on the x-axis, so it means your value is positive. So it means that quantity is always what? Greater than 0. Yes, that value is always what? That value is always greater than 0. And yes, you want to find all the values of x for which cos of sin x is greater than or equal to 0. That's the meaning of the domain here. Yes, so we can say x can take any real value. Why? If x can take any real value, then sin x from -1 to 1, and from -1 to 1 my cos of sin x is always positive. Yes, from -1 to 1 cos is what? Cos is always positive. So under root of that quantity is always defined. So you can say domain is what? Domain is collection of all real numbers. Okay, x can take any real value. So this is your final answer. Next, third one. Third is, so find the values of x for which the following functions are identical. Okay, fx is equal to cos x and gx is equal to this one. So if you observe gx is equal to what? Gx is equal to 1 upon under root 1 plus 10 square x, that is under root secant square x. Yes, we know secant square x minus 10 square x is 1. So 10 square x plus 1 is equal to secant square x. So you can say this thing is what? This thing is 1 upon under root of x square is mod of x. So this is mod of sec x. Okay. So this thing is what? This thing is mod of cos x. Mod of cos x. Yes. And yes, you know one more thing here, that x cannot take what? X cannot belongs to 2n plus 1 pi by 2 where n belongs to z. Yes, x cannot take the values 2n plus 1 pi by 2 where n belongs to z. Why? Because 10x is not defined for that. Okay, next thing, and fx is equal to what? Fx is equal to cos x. Okay, now you want what? Find the values of x for which the following functions are identical. Identical means domain are same, range are same, and their values are same at any particular x. So you can say fx is equal to gx means that thing implies what? That thing implies cos x is equal to mod of cos x. Yes, cos x is equal to mod of cos x. It means what? It means cos x must be greater than 0. You cannot take cos x equals to 0. Yes, from here you can take cos x greater than equal to 0, but from these two things you have to say that cos x is what? Cos x is greater than 0. Cos x cannot be 0. Okay, cos x cannot be 0. Why? Because if cos x is 0, then tan x is not defined, because sin x upon cos x is tan x. So you have to reject all the values where cos x is 0. So it means cos x is mod of cos x gives you what? The cos x greater than 0. Okay, so cos x greater than 0. Now you have to find all the values of x where cos x is greater than 0. So if you observe this thing, your quadrants, first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and the fourth quadrant. In second and third, we already know in second and third cos is what? Cos is negative. Okay, and here your cos is what? Here pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, odd multiples of pi by 2. So here the cos x is 0. So if you take any value from here to here, your cos x is what? Cos x is positive. Yes, and you know this point is known as, here if you have values here, so you can say x belongs to where? To where? So 2n pi, this ray is what? This ray is 2n pi, n belongs to z. Yes, so this one is what? 2n pi, and your rotation in clockwise direction, so minus pi by 2. So you can say x belongs to 2n pi minus pi by 2 open to 2n pi plus pi by 2. Yes, 2n pi plus pi by 2 open. Yes, and union of this thing when n belongs to integer. Yes, why? Because n belongs to integer here. Got it? So you can also do this process in your trigonometric. You already did that process in your trigonometric equations. Yes, trigonometric inequalities, trigonometric equations, and so on. So you have to find all the values of x where cos x greater than 0. So you can say x can take any value from the interval 2n pi minus pi by 2, 2n pi plus pi by 2, where n is an integer. Yes, so this is what? This is the domain, or you can say this collection is the collection of values of x for which both the functions are identical or equal. Got it? Now let's do the next one. Find the number of solutions of the equation sin x and x square plus x plus 1. Okay, now how can you find the solution here? So we'll use the graph. Okay, in graph we know if two graphs intersect each other, the point of intersection is the solution for your equation. Yes, so if you observe the graph x square plus x plus 1, so first of all let's say this is your x-axis and y-axis. Okay, so x square plus x plus 1 is what? X square plus x plus 1 is your graph like this. Parabolic curve. Yes, this is parabola. Sorry, this is y is equal to x square plus x plus 1. This is the curve. Okay. X square plus x plus 1, we already know a greater than 0, d negative, so expression is always positive. Yes, you know how to draw the x square plus x plus 1. You can do what? You can do x square plus x plus 1. This is what? This is x minus half whole square. Okay, x plus half whole square. This will give you x square plus 2ab, that is 2 into half 1 into x plus 1 by 4, and now you have plus 3 by 4. Yes. So you can observe one thing, the value is always positive. If you take any x, then this is non-negative, and if you add something positive, so this is always positive. So 3 by 4. X plus half whole square plus 3 by 4. When you simplify it, you will get the same thing, x square plus x plus 1. Okay. Now if you draw the graph of sine x, so graph of sine x is this one. Graph of sine x is this one. So here you have minimum value at x is equal to minus half. Yes. At x is equal to minus half, you have the minimum value, and at 0 you have value 1. At 0 you have value 1. X is equal to 0, value of your x square plus x plus 1 is 1, and minimum value, that is 3 by 4 at x is equal to half, minus half. Okay, minus half. So if you draw the sine x, so sine x is like this. Yes, and in negative direction. Okay. So sir, here no point of intersection we have. There is no point of intersection. Yes, this value is 1 at x is equal to pi by 2. Yes. And after 0, x square plus x plus 1 is what? Greater than. Means whenever x is greater than 0, so x square plus x plus 1 is greater than 1. So there is no point of intersection on that side. Similarly, this point is what? This point is minus pi. Whenever this thing is minus pi, then the value of this one is pi square plus 1 minus pi. That is greater than 1. So again, whenever your graph comes in this direction, positive direction, so that value becomes greater than 1. So there is no point of intersection. So there is no point of intersection. No point of intersection. POI means point of intersection. So find number of solutions. So how many solutions we have? So 0. Okay. And yes, one more thing. Whenever you have two different functions on either sides of equality, and you have to find the number of solutions, so you can go through the graphical way. Okay. So now let's do the next one. So next is first part. You have to write your function in piecewise form, root x greatest integer. Okay. So if you observe, greatest integer change itself at integers. Yes, means 0 to 1, that is 0, and whenever you take 1, so that value is 1. Yes, there is a gap. Okay, jump, you can say, between the values. So we have jump at integers. Okay, so for root x, you can say fx is what? Fx is, you already know that x must be what? Because we have x in under root sign, so x must be greater than or equal to 0. Yes, x must be greater than or equal to 0. Then you can define your root. Yes, x must be greater than or equal to 0. So now, if your x lies between 0 to 1, if x lies between 0 to 1, so root x what? Root x also lies between 0 to 1, so value is, greatest integer is 0 then. So if your value is between 1 to 4, 4 open, then root x lies between 1 to 2. Yes, so value is 1. So next is 4 to 9, value is 2, and 9 to 16, value is 3, and so on. Yes, similarly you can define your function root x, greatest integer of root x. Yes. Second one, tan inverse x. What about tan inverse x? Tan inverse x is, second, greatest integer or something. Yeah, greatest integer of tan inverse x. Greatest integer of tan inverse x. Fx is equal to greatest integer of tan inverse x. First thing is what? This is your inverse trigonometric function. Okay. And till now we don't know about inverse trigonometric function so much. So you can do this question after your inverse trigonometric function, but I am giving the solution here. Okay. So tan inverse x is what? Sir, we know tan inverse x always lies between minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Tan inverse x always belongs to minus pi by 2 open to pi by 2 open. Okay, that's the range of your tan inverse x. We'll discuss that thing. Okay, tan inverse x belongs to this one, so you can say greatest integer of tan inverse x can take values minus 2. Yes, minus pi by 2 means minus 1.57 approx. So that's minus 2, minus 1, 0 and 1. Yes, pi by 2 is 1.57, so greatest integer gives you 1. So these are the possible values for greatest integer of tan inverse x: minus 2, minus 1, 0 and 1. So greatest integer of tan inverse x is minus 2. So you can say tan inverse x greatest integer is minus 2 implies what? That implies that tan inverse x belongs to minus pi by 2 to minus pi by 2 to minus 1 open. Yes, minus pi by 2 to minus 1, because that minus 1 value is minus 1. Yes. So sir, from here you can say x belongs to tan of minus pi by 2, that's minus infinity, and tan of minus 1, that is minus tan 1. Okay. Next thing, you'll have the idea of why we are taking tan inverse x minus 1 as tan minus 1 in your next chapter, inverse trigonometric function. Okay, I'm giving the solution here. Okay, that's very easy thing. Next thing is greatest integer of tan inverse x is equal to minus 1 implies what? That gives you that tan inverse x lies between minus 1 close to 0 open, because at 0 greatest integer is 0. Okay, so from here you can say x is what? X is, sir, x belongs to including minus tan 1 to 0 open. Okay, similarly greatest integer of tan inverse x is equal to 0 gives you what? That gives us sir, tan inverse x is from 0 close to 1 open. Okay, so it implies x is what? X is tan inverse 0, that is 0 to tan 1. Okay, now the next thing is greatest integer of tan inverse x is 1. It implies what? That tan inverse x belongs to 1 close to pi by 2 open. So you can say x belongs to tan 1, that is tan 1 close, okay, to tan pi by 2, that's infinity open. Okay, so these are the possible values for your greatest integer of tan inverse x, and we have values of x here. So you can say greatest integer of tan inverse x is, you can write here, okay, greatest integer of, so you can say greatest integer of tan inverse x is equal to what? That is minus 2 whenever x belongs to here, minus 2 whenever x is from minus infinity to open minus tan 1. Okay, minus 1 whenever tan 1 minus tan 1 to 0, minus tan 1 to 0 open. Okay, and 0 from 0 to tan 1, 0 from 0 to tan 1, yes, and tan 1 to infinity the value is 1, that is 1 from tan 1 to infinity. Okay, so this is what, this is your piecewise definition for tan inverse x greatest integer of tan inverse x. Okay, now let's do the third part. So third part is what, now you can do third part here. Okay, no problem. Third part is, sir, fx is equal to ln x greatest integer. Yes, fx is equal to greatest integer of ln x. Okay, greatest integer of ln x. So sir, we know that your function fx changes its value at the integer point. So you can say fx is equal to what? Fx is equal to, sir, this thing is what? This thing is 0 at 1. Yes. So from whenever x is from 1 to e, at e value is 1. Yes. And 1, log x is what? Log x is an increasing function. If you observe the graph, so graph of log x is what? Graph of log x is like this. Yes. Why x must be positive, so graph is like this. Okay, that is what, that is 1 comma 0. Okay, so 1 to e, your graph is increasing, so 1 to e at 1 value is 0, log 1 to the base e is 0 and log e to the base e is 1. So it means 1 to e value is what lies between 0 to 1 and 1 excluding here, that means greatest integer give you 0. 1 to e value is 0. Now e to e square, e to e square, log e square to the base e is 2. Yes, why? Because we know that log x to the power m to the base a, that is what, m times log x to the base a, m times log x to the base a. Okay, and log a to the base a is 1, so log e to the base e is 1. So that's why e to e square value lies between 1 to 2, 2 open, so greatest integer is 1. Next, e square to e cube, e square to e cube value lies between 2 to 3, 3 open, so greatest integer give you 2. Yes, and similarly you can define your function in the positive for the positive values. Now means greater than 1 for the positive values which are greater than or equal to 1. So whenever value lies between e power minus 1 to 1, okay, e power minus 1 to 1, so at value 1 is 0, and if you take any value which is just smaller than 1, so that is negative. Okay, and e power, log e power minus 1 to the base e is minus 1. Okay, so minus 1 to 0, here your function lies between minus 1 to 0, 0 open, so value is minus 1. Okay, similarly e minus 2 to e power minus 1, value will be minus 2 and so on. Okay, you can define your function. Got it? So this is what, this is the piecewise definition for log x to the base e greatest integer of log x to the base e. Okay, so that's your fifth question. Now the next question is, the solution, that is what, sir, find the range of fx is equal to this one. Okay, no problem, where this is your greatest integer function. So sir, x belongs to 0 to pi close and you have to find the range of your function. Okay, so if we'll discuss the cases here, if x belongs to 0 to pi open interval other than 0 and pi, yes, then sin x is what? Sin x is what? Sin x is sin x belongs to 0 to 1, open. Yes or no? Got it? And you have one where 1 at pi by 2. Yes, so this is what, this is less than pi. Got it? X is less than pi, so x by 2 is less than pi by 2. This thing is less than pi by 3, so you never get pi by 2. Okay, that's why we cannot take 1 here. Okay, so thing is what, so x lies between 0 to pi. Okay, so 1 plus then sin x belongs to 0 to 1. Okay, open interval. Basically you can take close here. Okay, you can take a close interval here, 0 to 1 close. Okay, because in 0 to pi you have pi by 2, and sin pi by 2 is what, that is 1. Okay, and sin x belongs to 0 to pi, so sin is positive in your first and second quadrant, so that's why 0 to 1. Okay, cannot take 0 because sin is 0 at 0 and pi, and we are not taking these points in my given interval, so that is 0 to 1. But for these values, okay, if you accept pi by 2 also, let's say if you accept if you remove pi by 2 from here, pi by 2, let's say if you remove pi by 2 also, so you can say, okay, one more thing, let's start it. Sorry, if x belongs to 0 to pi 0 to pi 0 to pi except pi by 2. Okay, except pi by 2, you are taking what, you are taking x from 0 to pi except pi by 2, because at pi by 2 sin is 1. So now you can say sin x is what, sin x is always 0 to 1, open interval. If sin x is 0 to 1 and x is 0 to pi except pi by 2, so every time this is what, this this is also this is always less than pi by 2 or greater than 0. Yes, this thing is x by 2, x by 3, these things are what, these things are always greater than 0 and less than pi by 2 for x by 2 and so on. Okay, so it means you have fx as greatest integer of 1 plus something, that is sin x. Let's say first of all write the statement, sin x plus 2 plus sin of x by 2 greatest integer plus so on 3 plus sin x by 3 and so on, and here you have greatest integer of n plus sin x by n, sin x by n. Yes, so now we know this value is what, this value is smaller than 1, so it means this is smaller than, whole thing is smaller than 2, so greatest integer is what, 1. This thing is smaller than 1, so whole thing is smaller than 2, smaller than 3, so 2 plus something, so that is smaller than 3, so greatest integer is 2. Similarly you can say 3 plus 4 plus and so on, the last value is what, again this is smaller than 1, so this is smaller than n plus 1, so greatest integer is n. Okay, so value is what, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 till n, so this is what, sum of n, first n natural number, and this is nn plus 1 by 2, nn plus 1 by 2. Yes, so it means whenever x is 0 to pi except pi by 2 and 0 and pi, so you can say fx is equal to nn plus 1 by 2, that's the value. Now we have to find the range, so we and x can take value 0, pi and pi by 2. Now we have three different cases, 0, pi and pi by 2. So if x is equal to 0, now let's discuss your different cases. If x is equal to 0, if x is equal to 0, so sin x is what, sin x is 0. Yes, and sin x by 2 is also 0, this is also 0, and everything is 0. So you will get what, fx is equal to what, fx is equal to 1, greatest integer of 1 is 1 plus 2 is 2 and so on till n. So again this is what, nn plus 1 by 2, so the same value. Okay, now if x is equal to pi, if x is equal to pi, if x is equal to pi, then we have x by 2 as pi by 2, and other than that x by n whenever n is greater than 2, so values are smaller than pi by 2 and greater than 0, so it means your sign lies between 0 to 1 again. Okay, so this time your fx is what? This time fx is greatest integer of 1 plus sin x, and sin pi is 0, so this is 1 plus greatest integer of 2 plus sin x by 2, that's sin pi by 2, which is 1, plus 3 plus something, which is that something is less than 1. Yes, so 3 plus some quantity which is less than 1 lies between 3 to 4, and greatest integer is 3, so that value is 3, plus similarly 4 and till n. Got it? If you find the sum, you will get what? 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus till n. Now that thing is 1 plus, this 3 can be written as 2 plus 1. Yes, so you can say this is 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus till n, and that 1 also. Okay, so this thing is what? This thing is nn plus 1 by 2, nn plus 1 by 2 plus 1. So when you simplify it, you will get what? N square plus n square plus n plus 2 divided by 2. Okay, this is the value at pi. Similarly, value at pi by 2 is what? If x is equal to pi by 2, then fx is what? Fx, sir, fx is 1 plus sin pi by 2. Sin pi by 2 is 1. So this is 1 plus 1, greatest integer of 1 plus 1. That thing is greatest integer of 1 plus 1, plus, now if x is pi by 2, if x is pi by 2, so this is pi by 2 by 2, that's pi by 4, means again x by n whenever n is greater than equal to 2, the value is smaller than pi by 2 and greater than 0, so sin x always lies between 0 to 1. So you can say these things are what? These things are 2 as it is. Yes, 2. Similarly 3, 4 and till n. Okay, so this thing is what? 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus till n, so this can be written again as 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus till n. When you simplify, you get the same thing. Yes, n square plus n plus 2 divided by 2. Okay, and n plus 1 by 2 plus 1 is n square plus n plus 2 by 2. Okay, so how many values you have? Now sir, in the range, one value is this one, both are same, so we have only one value, that, and one value is nn plus 1 by 2. Yes, nn plus 1 by 2, where the second one? Nn plus 1 by 2. So it means we have only 2 point in my range. One is nn plus 1 by 2. So range is what? Range is equal to collection of nn plus 1 by 2 and n square plus n plus 2 whole divided by 2. Okay, that's the answer. Okay, so this is your answer, the range of your function, this one. Got it? Now let's do the next one. Seventh is solve x square minus 4 minus greatest integer x. Okay, so again you can say this thing is what? This thing is x square minus 4 is equal to greatest integer x. Again draw the graph here. So if you draw the graph, so you'll get what? You'll get this thing, x-axis is y-axis, and x square minus 4 is what? X square minus 4 is parabola. So your graph is like this, parabola is this one. So minimum value at 0, which is minus 4. Okay, and this thing is 0 and minus 2 and 2, so this is minus 2 and this is 2. So somewhere here we have 1, this is 0, this is somewhere we have minus 1, then minus 3, minus 4 and so on. Similarly you have 3, 4 and so on. Okay, now just draw the graph of greatest integer x. Solution of fx is equal to gx means graphically when they intersect, the point of intersection is known as the solution. Yes, so draw the graph of greatest integer x. So greatest integer x is what? 0 to 1, that is 0, this is the graph. 1 to 2, that is 2, 1 to 2, that is 1. So 1 to 2, 1 to 2, that's, let's say this is 1. So at 1 the value is 1. Okay, that's an open circle because at 1 value is 1. Yes, so at 2 the value is, till 2 value is what? Value is 1. Okay, so now at 2 the function is here. Yes, no, function is not here. Where is the function? At 2 the value is somewhere here. At 2 value is 2. Yes, so, or you can draw the graph. Let's say till 2 the value is what? Till 2 the value is 1. So till 2 the value is 1. Yes, value is 1. Got it? And after 2 or at 2 the value is 2. So 2 is, let's say, somewhere here. So 2 is here. Yes. Okay. Now you have 2 to 3 value is 2. Yes, 2 to 3 value is 2. So you have what? You have point of intersection with your graph where? In 2 to 3. In 2 to 3. Similarly, when you draw the graph here, you will get what? You will get this thing. That's a minus 1, minus 2. So graph is like this. Okay. So it means you have point of intersection of your greatest integer x with x square minus 4 between minus 2 to minus 1 and between 2 to 3. So for that you can say x square minus 4 is what? Either x square minus 4 is greatest integer of x. So whenever 2 to 3 value is greatest integer of x is 2. And whenever this is lies between minus 1 to minus 2, so you can say x square minus 4 is equal to what? Minus 2. Okay. Greatest integer whenever number lies between minus 1 to minus 2, that is minus 2. So you can say this is x square is equal to 6. Okay. So x can take two values, either root 6 or minus root 6. So we know in 2 to 3 we do not have minus root 6. So you have to reject that thing. Okay. Similarly here, that is what? That is x square is equal to 2. So you have two different values, x is equal to root 2 or minus root 2. Got it? So again minus, this solution is where? This solution is in minus 1 to minus 2. So it means in minus 1 to minus 2 we do not have root 2. So my final values of x are x is equal to either root 6 or minus root 2. So these are the values of x for which my x square minus 4 minus greatest integer of x is equal to 0. How can you do? First of all, take graph of x square minus 4 and then draw the graph of greatest integer x. Okay. So this is the graph of greatest integer x. You will clearly get your solution between 2 to 3 and minus 1 to minus 2 from the graph, and you can put the values of greatest integer and solve your x, root 6 and minus root 2. So these are the values. Okay. That's a good question. Next one. Solution is, for the following function write the piecewise definition. Okay, first fx is equal to signum of ln x. Signum of ln x is what? We know Signum function is what? Signum of x is what? That's minus 1 whenever x is negative. That is 0 whenever x is 0. That is 1 whenever x is greater than 0. It's clear. Yes, that's your signum. Now, if you find for the first part signum of log x to the base e, ln x basically. So you can say what? You can say this is minus 1 whenever ln x is negative. Okay. Second one is this is 0 whenever ln x is 0. Okay. Next thing is this is 1 whenever ln x is greater than 1. Yes, this time your input is what? That ln x. So just put ln x here. So you know one thing that this is minus 1 this is equal to minus 1 log x to the base e is negative. So we already know x must be what? X must be greater than 0. Yes. So x must be greater than 0. So 0 to e raised to power 0, that is 1. Yes. So whenever x lies between 0 to 1, value is minus 1. Okay. And we know that whenever x is equal to 1, log 1 to the base e is 0. So that is 0. Okay. And x whenever greater than e, okay, x greater than e, then the value is what? Value is greater than 1. So, sorry, this is what? Greater than 0. Log x to the base e greater than 0. Okay. This thing is what? Sorry, this thing is what? 0. So, ln x to the base e greater than, ln x greater than 0 means x greater than e power 0, that is 1. Okay, that is 1. So, x is what? X is greater than 1. Okay. So you can say signum of ln x is minus 1 whenever x 0 to 1, 0 at 1, and whenever greater than 1, so value is 1. Okay, next thing. So this is the definition, piecewise definition for your function. Second is what? Second is signum of sin x. Signum of sin x. So second one is signum of sin x. So if you observe, you can say this is minus 1 whenever sin x is negative. This is 0 whenever sin x is 0. And this is 1 whenever sin x is positive. Okay. So now, if you observe your first, second and third quadrant, first, second, third and fourth quadrant, so sin is 0. If you take these values, if you have values here and here, means pi, 0, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi, sin is 0. So you can say sin x is 0 at x is equal to n pi, where n belongs to integer. Okay. And in first and second quadrant here, in first and second quadrant, sin is positive. Sin x is positive. So how can you write this thing? Sir, x belongs to where? This interval. This point is 2n pi. So 2n pi open to 2n pi plus pi, which is 2n plus 1 pi. Where n is what? N is an integer. Okay. And sin is negative here in this part. So sin is negative. Sin x is negative. This one is what? 2n plus 1 pi to x belongs to 2n plus 1 pi to 2n plus 2 pi. Yes, open interval n belongs to z. Got it? So you can say signum of sin x is, you can say signum of sin x is equal to minus 1, 0 or 1. Minus 1 whenever sin x is negative. So sin x is negative in this portion. So you can say 2n plus 1 pi to 2n plus 2 pi open interval where n is an integer. Yes, your sign is negative. and signum gives you -1. Sine is 0 at x is equal to n pi. So x is equal to n pi where n belongs to an integer. So sine is 0. So value of signum is also 0. This is positive whenever positive 1 whenever sine is positive. So sine is positive whenever x belongs to 2n pi to 2n plus 1 pi open interval n belongs to integer. Okay, so this is the piecewise definition for your signum of sine x. Okay, this is the answer. Now next question is, this is our next question. You have to find the range of the functions. So first question is f of x. F of x is equal to signum of x square. Signum of x square. So it means if you take x is equal to 0, we know at x is equal to 0, x square is 0. So at x is equal to 0, x square is 0. So signum 0 is 0. And if you take any value, any real value other than 0, okay, so x square is positive. So signum of positive value gives you 1. So it means in the range of function f(x) we have two values 0 and 1. So range here, range is what? Range is set 0 and having 0 and 1, two elements. Yes, second part is what? Second part is f of x is equal to signum of x square minus 2x plus 3. X square minus 2x plus 3. And we know something about your x square minus 2x plus 3. That is what? Sir, this thing can be written as x minus 1 whole square plus 2. Yes, x square minus 2x plus 1 plus 2, that is plus 3. So this thing is what? This thing is always greater than equal to 0. So when you add 2, so that thing is always positive. Always positive. So signum of positive gives you what? That is 1. So you have only one value in your range. So range set is here. Range set is equal to singleton 1. Okay, so this is the range of your second part. Got it? Now let's do the next one. Question number 10. So you have to find the domain of this function. For the domain, sir, this quantity must be greater than 0. Yes, you cannot take equality because this thing is in the denominator and denominator cannot be 0. So that's why mod of greatest integer mod of x minus 1 minus 5 greater than 0. If this thing is greater than 0, so you can say mod of greatest integer of mod x minus 1 greater than 5. Okay, if mod of something is greater than 5, so we have two cases. Either greatest integer of mod x minus 1 is greater than 5, or greatest integer of mod x minus 1 less than minus 5. Yes, now if you observe something here, that is, sir, mod of x is what? That is always non-negative. Yes, non-negative. You can say greater than or equal to 0. Greater than or equal to 0. And if you subtract minus 1, so that thing is greater than or equal to minus 1. So your greatest integer of any value which is greater than or minus 1, greater than or equal to minus 1, so it can take either minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. It cannot take any value which is less than minus 5. Yes, so this thing is not possible. If this thing is not possible, so we have this option. So greatest integer of mod x minus 1 greater than 5. So from here we can say mod x minus 1 is greater than or equal to 6. Yes, that greatest integer is greater than 5. So it means that can take 6, 7, 8 and so on. Yes, greater than equal to 6. Okay, that is greater than 5. Okay, greatest integer of something is greater than 5. So it means that value must be greater than or equal to 6. The least value is 6, and the least value of your greatest integer is 6 whenever that is greater than or equal to 6. Okay, so from here you can say mod x is what? Mod x is greater than or equal to 7. So if mod x greater than or equal to 7, so from here x belongs to minus infinity to minus 7 or union 7 to infinity. Yes or no? Minus infinity to minus 7. Okay, minus infinity to mod x greater than or equal to 7, either x greater than or equal to 7, so 7 to infinity, or less than or equal to minus 7, so minus infinity to minus 7. So you have x here in this interval. So this is what? This is my domain. Okay, so this is what? This is the final answer. Got it? This is your answer. Minus infinity to minus 7 union 7 to infinity. 7 and minus 7 both are included in your intervals. So next thing is, sir, we have some correction in this question. That is what? That is equal to 0. Okay, that thing is what? That thing is equal to 0 here. Okay, so in question we have some relation and we have to find the domain and range. So how can we find the domain and range? Sir, if you observe this thing, so this is 2 times log y minus log x minus log of y minus 1 is equal to 0. When you simplify it, you can say this is log y square upon y minus 1 is equal to log of x. Yes, log y square, you can write this thing as y square because of the property of logarithm, and this is log m minus log n, then so log m by n, so log y square by y minus 1 is equal to log x. Okay, so from here you can say y square upon y minus 1 is equal to what? That is x. So when you simplify, you can say y square is equal to xy minus x, and from here you can say y square minus xy plus x is equal to 0. Okay, this thing y square minus xy plus x is equal to 0, and we know x and y are what? X and y are real numbers. So here if you observe this thing, so y is what? Y is equal to minus b, that is x minus b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac, that is minus 4x divided by 2a, that is 2 into 1, which is 2. Okay, so if you simplify it, you will get, okay, no need to simplify this thing, sorry. Now y is equal to this one, and we know if y is equal to this thing and y is a real number, so y is real number whenever this thing is what? This thing is greater than or equal to 0. So you can say x square minus 4x must be greater than or equal to 0. So it means x into x minus 4 must be greater than or equal to 0. Okay, and we know one thing, that is what? That, sir, this thing is defined whenever x is positive, x is greater than 0. So sir, we know x is greater than 0, so this is always positive, and product of these two things is positive, so this must be what? This must be positive. So from here you can say x minus 4 must be greater than equal to 0. So from here you can say x must be greater than equal to 4. Okay, x greater than equal to 4. Now we know x is greater than equal to 4, so this is what? This is your domain. Values of x is domain. Okay, now what about range? Now sir, x is y square upon y minus 1. X is y square upon y minus 1, and that thing is greater than equal to 4. Okay, so if you simplify this thing, you will get y square minus 4y plus 4 divided by, if you take 4 on the left hand side, you will get y square minus 4y plus 4 upon y minus 1 greater than equal to 0. So when you simplify it, you will get y minus 2 whole square divided by y minus 1 greater than equal to 0. Yes, y minus 2 whole square divided by y minus 1 greater than equal to 0. So sir, this thing is what? This thing is always greater than equal to 0. So if division is greater than or equal to 0, so this must be greater than 0. So from here you can say y minus 1 must be greater than 0, so y must be greater than 1. Okay, y cannot be 1 because denominator is 0 then. So y must be greater than 1. So this is what? This is your range. Yes, yes, you can take y greater than 1. From here from here we have what? Y greater than 1 and y is greater than 0. So intersection of these three is 1 to infinity. Okay, 1 open. That is what? Y greater than 1, strictly greater than 1. So you can say domain is 4 to infinity close. Domain is 4 to infinity close and range is 1 to infinity and 1 open. Okay, so correct answer is A. This is your answer. Got it? Now let's do the next one. Next question is, the range of the function, this one, the greatest integer function. Here this thing is what? Greatest integer function. Okay, so this thing is what? So sir, y is equal to greatest integer of x square minus greatest integer of x whole square. So if you observe, if you write this function in piecewise definition, so sir, we know greatest integer changes itself at the integers. Yes, and we have to find the range in 0 to 2 close interval. Yes, so whenever 0 to 1, x lies between 0 to 1. So this thing is what? Lies between 0 to 1, so that is 0. 0 to 1, this is 0, 0 square is 0. So 0 minus 0 is 0. Okay, next thing. Now it changes its behavior at 2, but this one changes its behavior at root 2, because root 2 square is 2, then this value is 2. Okay, so 1 to root 2, open. Yes, this thing is what? This thing is 1. And 1 to root 2, this one is what? 1 to root 2, that is 1 to 2, and 1 to 2 greatest integer is 1. And this is what? 1 to root 2, this is again 1. So, and 1 square is 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0. Okay. Now, root 2 to root 3. Root 2 to root 3, this lies between 2 to 3. So this is what? 2 minus. And root 2 to root 3, this is 1. 1 square is 1. So this is 2 minus 1, that is 1. Okay. Now, root 3 to 2 open. Root 3 to 2 open, this is what? 3 to 4, so that is 3. And this is 1, so 1 square is 1, 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay. And at x is equal to 2, this is 4 minus, and this one is also 4, that is 0. Okay, so 0, 0, 1, 2, 0. So how many points we have in the range? 3 points. So range is what? Range is collection of 0, 1 and 2. 0, 1 and 2. That D is the correct one. Okay. Now next is solution is, sir, find the domain of the function, this one, where this is greatest integer less than or equal to x. Okay. So for the domain, sir, x square minus greatest integer of x whole square, that must be greater than or equal to 0. Yes, that must be greater than or equal to 0. Under root, quantity which is in under root must be non-negative. So x square minus greatest integer of x whole square, that must be greater than or equal to 0. So it means, sir, if you take any non-negative integer, x belongs to 0 to infinity, 0 close and infinity open. If x belongs to 0 close to infinity open, okay, x square is what? X square. Or you can do one more thing. If you think like this, x square minus greatest integer x square is x minus greatest integer x and x plus greatest integer x. That must be greater than or equal to 0. Yes. So you know x is always greater than or equal to greatest integer x. So this thing is non-negative. Non-negative. X is always what? X is always greater than or equal to a greatest integer x. And this thing is what? If x is positive or non-negative, so this is what? This is a non-negative value. So product of two non-negative values is what? That is non-negative. Yes. So you can say yes, x can take any non-negative value, any non-negative value. And what about negative integers? Negative integers. Negative integers. Negative integers. If you take, let's say, -2. So this is -2 square is 4. -2 is greatest integer of -2 is 2. That is -2 whole square, which is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. So it means you can take negative values also. Yes, negative integers. So that is also the part of your domain. Next thing. What about, sir, this one? So we know x minus greatest integer is always non-negative. Okay. If x is not a non-negative integer. Okay. For the non-negative real numbers, we know this is in my domain. All negative integers are in my domain. Now what about if non-negative numbers other than, numbers are negative numbers other than negative integers? So x minus greatest integer x, that is always greater than equal to 0. But this thing is what? X plus greatest integer x, that is -1. Okay, so this thing is not positive. Okay, for example, if you take, let's say, -1.2. So -1.2, for example, -1.2, that is -1.2 minus greatest integer of -1.2 is -2. Okay, that thing is what? You can observe this thing is non-negative, means positive here, actually non-negative. What about x? That is, sir, -1.2 plus greatest integer, that's -2. So that's -1. So value is what? That's a negative value. So it means you cannot take negative numbers other than negative integers. So your domain is collection of all non-negative numbers and negative integers. So this is not the correct one. No, no. This is the part of your domain. This is not the domain. So final answer is D, none of these. Okay, so final is what? Collection of all the non-negative numbers and negative integers. That is the domain. Now next question is, if x is real, then find the value of this expression. Again, that is similar to question number 1. So if you assume this thing as y is equal to x square plus 14x, x square plus 14x plus 9 divided by x square plus 2x plus 3. So you can use what? Cross multiplication. You can say y x square, or when you do two steps together, so you can write this thing as y x square minus x square. So y minus 1 into x square, okay, plus 2y minus 14 plus 2y minus 14 into x, and 3y minus 9 plus 3y minus 9 is equal to 0. Okay, this is quadratic in x. So roots are real, so d greater than equal to 0 and y not equal to 1. D greater than equal to 0 and y is not equal to 1, because at y is equal to 1, leading coefficient is 0. So if you apply this thing, so you will get what? B square, that is 2y minus 14 whole square, b square minus 4ac, 4 into y minus 1 into 3y minus 9 greater than equal to 0. So after simplification, you will get what? 4y square minus 56y plus 14 square is 196 minus, this is 3y square into minus 4, that's minus 12y square, and this is minus 9y minus 3y minus 12y minus 4, that's 48y, and this is plus 9 minus 36 is greater than equal to 0. So when you simplify, you will get what? 4y square minus 12y square minus 8y square, okay, minus 56y plus 48y, so minus 8y, and 196 and minus 30, so plus 160 greater than equal to 0. Okay, so this thing is what, divide by minus 8, so you'll get y square plus y minus 20 is less than equal to 0. Yes, during division with negative number, so inequality get reversed. So from here you can say what, you can say this is y plus 5 and y minus 4 less than equal to 0. Yes, y square plus y minus 20, that thing is less than equal to 0. So from here, using your wavy curve, you can say y belongs to minus 5 to 4. Yes, minus 5 to 4, close interval, but you cannot include 1 here now. Yes, because y is not equal to 1. So minus 5 comma 4 excluding 1. Now what about 1? If y is equal to 1, okay, if y is equal to 1, now you have to check that you have some x or not for this. X square plus 14x plus 9, x square plus 14x plus 9 divided by x square plus 2x plus 3, x square plus 2x plus 3. So when you simplify it, you'll get x square plus 2x plus 3 is equal to x square plus 14x plus 9. So you can cancel this thing. So you have 12x is equal to minus 6. Yes, take 2x here and 9 here. So minus 3 minus 9 is minus 6 and 14 minus 2 is 12x. So x is equal to minus 1 by 2. Okay, so it means you can take y is equal to 1 also. So your final answer is, final range is y belongs to minus 5 comma 4, y belongs to minus 5 comma 4 closed minus 1 union 1. So that is what, that is minus 5 to 4 close interval. So this is the range. Okay, minus 5 to 4, that is the range of your expression. Okay, all the possible values for your expression, you can say. Now the next question is this one. So solution here. So let us assume, sir, solution is yeah, range of this function. Yes, this is greatest integer. So let's say m is equal to what, m is equal to this interior part, mod of sin x plus mod of cos x. So if you take the square on both sides, you will get m square is equal to sin square x. Yes, or you can say uh, square of mod sin x plus square of mod cos x plus 2 mod sin x mod cos x. And we know that x square or mod x square both are same thing. So you can say m square is equal to 1 plus, not 1 plus, that m square is equal to this thing is sin square x plus cos square x. Yes, plus you can write this thing as mod of 2 sin x cos x, because mod ab is equal to mod of a mod b. Okay, 2 sin x cos x. So from here you can say m square is equal to sin square x plus cos square x is 1 plus mod of 2 sin x cos x is sin 2x, mod of sin 2x. And sir, we know that mod of sin 2x lies between, yes, now we know mod of sin 2x belongs to you can say 0 to 1. Yes, because sine belongs to minus 1 to 1, so modulus value belongs to 0 to 1. So 1 plus, from here you can say 1 plus mod sine 2x, 1 plus mod sine 2x, that belongs to, if you add 1, so 1 to 2, 1 to 2. Okay, so this thing is what, this thing is m square. So you can say m square is from where to where? Sir, m square is from 1 to 2. So it means m is what? M is from 1 to root 2. And obviously m is what? M is a positive quantity, non-negative quantity. Yes. that is non-negative, that is non-negative. Okay, that's why we are saying what we are saying, m is from 1 to root 2, yes or no? Otherwise you can say minus root 2 to minus 1 also. Okay, but m is not negative, so that's why m is, if m square is 1 to 2, so you can say m square is 1 to 2, then m is from 1 to root 2. So if m is from 1 to root 2, you have to find what greatest integer of this. So greatest integer of m is what, that is 1, only one value. Okay, and this greatest integer of m is what, that is fx. So fx can take what, fx can take only one value, that is 1. So final answer is singleton 1. Got it? So C is the final answer. Now next question is, so this is your revision portion. Yes, so first question is here, means first question from revision section, that is, so largest term common to the sequence 1, 11, 21, 31 and so on to 100, and 31, 36, 41, 46 to 100 terms. Yes, you have to find the largest common term. So that is what 1, 11, 21, 31 and so on. So 100 term is what, a plus, this is in AP, difference is 10, 10, 10, 10 and so on. So 100 term is a plus n minus 1, 99 into d. D is common difference, that is 10. Okay, that is 991. Okay, next is what, next is 1, 36, 41, 46, 51. Yes, until 100. Okay, so 100 term here, that is a 100 again, let's say a dash, let's say. So this is a plus n minus 1, 99 into d, that is 5. So if you calculate this thing, so this is 1 plus 49. Sorry, this is 31. Sorry. This is 31. 31. Otherwise, that's not an AP. Yes, 31, 36, 41, 46, 51 and so on. So 100 term is a plus n minus 1d, that is 31 plus 495. So when you add them, you will get what, 6 and 526. Yes. So these are the 100 terms of your given APs. Yes, 526 and 991. So you have to find the largest common term. So it means the largest common term is what? Less than or equal to this thing? Yes or no? Less than or equal to this thing? So if you observe about the common terms, so common terms are 31, 41, 51 and so on. These are what? These are the common terms. Common terms. Yes, 31, then 41, then 51, then 61 and so on. So this is again an AP. So let's say nth term is what? Nth term. Okay, the common term is what? These are the common terms, and let's say largest common term is nth term. Okay, largest common term is nth term. So let's say nth term of this AP is an double dash. So this is a plus n minus 1 into d. Okay, and that term is what? That term is less than or equal to 526. So from here you can say n minus 1 into 10 is less than equal to 526 minus 31. 526 minus 31 is 495. Okay, subtract 31 on both sides. So if you calculate n minus 1 from here, you can say this is less than equal to 49.5. And from here you can say n is less than equal to 50.5. Yes, add 1 both sides. So it means n cannot be a fractional number. So n is what? N must be 50. So your largest common term is 50th term of this sequence. So now calculate the 50th term. that is A n minus 1 into D. 31 plus 490, that is 521. Okay, this is what, this is the largest common term, largest common term. Okay, 521. And you have to find what? Find the largest term common to the sequence, this and this. So that is what, that is 521. Okay, 521 is the answer. Got it? Now let's do the next one. 17th question. In an AP, sum of first 6 term is 5. Sum of first 6 term. Sum of first 6 term is 5 times the sum of next 6 terms. Means S of 6 is equal to 5 times sum of next 6 terms. Yes, means 7th term, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th term. So how can you write this thing? Sir, you can add A1 to A6 and you can subtract A1 to A6. Yes? Yes or no? We are given with in any AP, let's say for this AP you have first term as A and common difference as D. Okay, this is the parameter given to us. And we are given with that the sum of first 6 term. Sum of first 6 term is denoted by S6. Okay, is 5 times the sum of next 6 term. So 5 times the sum of next 6 term. Sum of next 6 term is what? Sum of next 6 term is A7, A8, A9, A10, A11, A12. Now you can add first 6 term and subtract first 6 terms. So you can say this is what? This is sum of first 12 terms. So this is sum of first 12 terms minus. And this is what? Sum of first 6 terms. So this is S6. So when you calculate it, you will get S6 is equal to 5 times S12 minus 5 times S6. So from here you can say 6 times S6 is equal to 5 times S12. Now 6 into S6 is what? 6 by 2, n by 2, 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Yes, is equal to 5 into sum of first 12 terms, 12 by 2, n by 2, 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Okay, when you simplify it, you can say 6 and this is 6. Yes, and you divide 12 by 6, 12 by 2, you will get 6 and now you can cancel 6 by 6. So this is 3. So this is 3 into 2a is 6a plus 5d into 3, that's 15d, which is equal to what? That is 5 2s are 10a plus this is 11d, 11 into 5, that's 55d. So when you simplify it, you will get what? Take here, you will get 4a plus 40d. 4a plus 40d is equal to 0. And this thing is what? This thing is 4 into a plus 10d is equal to 0. So 4 cannot be 0. So it means what? A plus 10d is equal to 0. And a plus 10d is what? A plus 10d is the 11th term. So 11th term is equal to 0. Okay, so 11th term is 0. So 11th term is 0. Yes, you have to find what? You have to find the term which is 0 here. So final answer is 11th term. Got it? Now let's do the next one. Next is if the side of a right angle triangle are in AP, you have a right angle triangle and its sides are in AP, then the sign of the acute angles are what? So let's say this is your right angle triangle. And right angle triangle is what? We have one, the sides of this right angle triangle is in AP. So bigger side is what? That's the hypotenuse. So let's say D is greater than 0. Your common difference is we are taking that is greater than 0. So sir, this is x. Let's say So this is x minus d and this is x plus d. So these numbers are in AP. Yes, three numbers are in AP, x, x minus d and x plus d. These are in AP. So now we know d is greater than 0. You can take d less than 0, then x minus d is the greatest one. Yes. So that's nothing. So if you take your common difference positive, so you have three numbers. Your sides of right angle triangle are in AP. So it means you have three numbers, x, x minus d and x plus d. So these are in AP. So x plus d is the greatest one. So this is what? This is the hypotenuse. So you can say x plus d whole square is equal to x square plus x minus d whole square using Pythagoras. When you simplify, you will get x square plus 2xd plus d square is equal to x square plus x square minus 2xd plus d square. Now you can cancel d square x square, d square x square. You can take 2xd here, you will get 4 times xd is equal to x square. Okay. And we know x is what? X is side of your right angle triangle, so x cannot be 0. So you can cancel x from both the sides. If you cancel your x from both the sides, you will get x is equal to what? X is equal to 4d. X is equal to 4d. So if x is equal to 4d, now your sides are what? Your sides are, sir, 4d, 3d, and that is 4d. 4d minus d is 3d, and 4d plus d is 5d. Okay. Now, let's say this is triangle ABC. So acute angles are what? Acute angles are C and A. So sine A is what? Sine A is perpendicular for A is this one, BC, that is 4D. Hypotenuse is 5D. So 4D upon 5D is 4 by 5. And similarly, sine C is what? C is the acute one. So that is 3D by 5D. That is 3D by 5D, which is 3 by 5. So sine of acute angles are 3 by 5 and 4 by 5. So 3 by 5 and 4 by 5. So final answer is A. Okay. So this is your answer. Now next question is 19th. So solution for this is, sir, these three number A, 1 by B and C and 1 by P, Q and 1 by R form two arithmetic progressions of the same common difference. Let's say common difference is D. Okay, that common difference is D. We are assuming that common difference, that same common difference, let's say that is let D. Okay, so it means we can say, or there is no need to assume your common difference. Okay, no need to assume your common difference, but we know one thing, that we have same common difference. Yes, so it means 1 by B minus A is equal to C minus 1 by B. Okay, this thing is the common difference for your arithmetic progression, first one. Yes, and similarly you will get Q minus 1 by P is equal to 1 by R minus Q. Yes or no? This is what? This is the equation from your same common difference. If this has some common difference, let's say D, and this is also D, so common difference is 1 by B minus A, that is equal to C minus 1 by B, that is Q minus 1 by P, and that is 1 by R minus Q. Okay, from these two inequalities, from these two, okay, from these two, you can say what? You can say 1 by B. If you take 1 by B here, so you can say 2 by B is equal to, 2 by B is equal to A plus C. Okay, A plus C. Okay, and from here you can say what? You can say 1 by P plus 1 by R is equal to 2Q. 2Q is equal to 1 by P plus 1 by R. 1 by P plus 1 by R. Okay, now sir, we are given with, then AQC are in AP if, okay, if AQC are in AP, then what will have? We have, sir, 2 times Q is equal to A plus C. Yes, 2 times q is equal to a plus c, and if 2 times q is equal to a plus c, so from here we can say what? We can say, sir, 2 by b is equal to 1 by p plus 1 by r, and this thing can be written as 1 by b minus 1 by p, 1 by b minus 1 by p is equal to 1 by r minus 1 by b. Yes, you can take 1 by p here, that is 1 by p plus 1 by r. If you are taking 1 by b here, that is 2 by b. So 2 by b is equal to 1 by p plus 1 by r. So you can say this means what? This means 1 by p, 1 by b and 1 by r are in AP. Okay, that's why we have 1 by b minus 1 by p is equal to 1 by r minus 1 by b. Yes, 1 by b minus 1 by p, 1 by r minus 1 by b. Okay, so it means 1 by p, 1 by b, 1 by r in AP. So 1 by p, 1 by b, 1 by r in AP. So option B is the correct one. Okay, now the last question is this one. So last question, here we have, so consider an AP such that we have sum of 3, 5th and 8th term is 11. Okay, so you can say the common difference, let's say common difference is D. Common difference is equal to, let's say, D. So A3 can be written as A1 plus 2D plus A5 is A1 plus 4D and A8 is what? A1 plus 7D is equal to 11. So from here you can say 3A1 plus 13D is 11. First equation. Okay, second one is what? A4 plus A2 is minus 2. A4 means A1 plus 3D plus next one is A2, that is A1 plus D, which is equal to minus 2. So when you simplify it, you will get what? 2A1 plus 4D. 2A1 plus 4D is equal to minus 2. Got it? So when you simplify these two, you will get what? Sir, first one, multiply the first one with 2, you will get 6A1 plus 26D is equal to 22. Multiply the second equation with 3, so you will get 6A1 plus 12D is equal to, with 3, so this is minus 6. When you subtract it, you will get 0. This is 14D is equal to 28. So D is equal to 2. And if D is equal to 2, put here, you will get A is equal to what? A is equal to, that is 8 minus 10. So A1 is equal to minus 5. So A1 is equal to minus 5. Now you have to calculate A1 plus A6 plus A7. A1 plus A6 plus A7. A1 plus A6 plus A7. Okay, so this is what? A1 plus 5D plus A1 plus 60. So this thing is equal to 3A1 plus 11D. 3A1 plus 11D. So 3A1 plus 11D means 3A1. A1 is, I think, minus 5. We have A1 as minus 5 and D as 2. A1 as minus 5 and D1 as 2. So 11 into 2. So it means this is minus 15 plus 22, which is equal to 7. Okay, so 7 is the answer. Got it? So 7 is the answer. C is the correct one. Okay, and in the last one we have B. Yeah. Okay. So 7 is the final answer here. So that was the last question of your assignment. Okay, and this is what? This is your assignment number 6. In next, we'll discuss the next assignment. Okay, then bye bye everyone.